The Oakland County Child Killer case is one of the most notorious unsolved murder cases in the country.
As we approach the 40-year mark in this tragic case, one father is launching a new website hoping to bring a killer or killers to justice.
7 investigator Heather Cataldo has been covering this case for years. Joins us now with new information. Heather?
Well, next Monday marks 40 years to the day that the first victim of the Oakland County Child Killer was abducted. This case has become synonymous with a particular car, the Blue Gremlin. But as we approach this sad anniversary, the victim's family say that car was never really a good lead. And they have a different vehicle they want you to think about that just might trigger someone's memory and solve these crimes.
It's terrible, the things that those poor kids went through.
When Mike Stebbins' little brother Mark vanished on February 15, 1976, Mike's life violently changed course.
Tragic loss. Now I'm all alone.
Mark Stebbins was just 12 years old when, after a game of pool with his brother at the American Legion Hall in Ferndale, he headed home to watch a movie. But Mark never made it to their house.
I just wondered, what would have happened if I would have walked home with him. Would things have been different?
4 days later, Mark's body was found in Southfield. He had been sexually assaulted and smothered. His brother and mother did not know it at the time, but Mark was the first victim of a serial killer or killers, now known as the Oakland County Child Killer. And even after 40 years, police still don't know who murdered these 4 children.
If somebody knows something after 40 years, you can't speak up. What's the problem?
Somebody held Tim in his hand and covered his mouth and nose. I can't think of anything more hideous.
Barry King's son Tim was the killer's final known victim. It was after Tim's abduction from a Birmingham drugstore in 1977 that this suspect picture emerged. A man supposedly seen talking to Tim standing near a blue AMC Gremlin.
All people seem to remember about this case is the blue Gremlin. It got so much attention, but that was always a very weak lead.
That's because Chris King saw that Gremlin still in the drugstore parking lot hours after his little brother had vanished.
There are other cars that more credible witnesses talk about that I think should get more attention than the Gremlin.
The Gremlin has taken on Jimmy Hoffa-like notoriety, police even launching a dig when parts of a Gremlin were found buried in Grand Blanc Township. But the King family believes police and the public should focus on a dark or blue-colored Pontiac Le Mans from the early 70s, similar to this one. They say police reports make reference to a Le Mans for 3 of the 4 victims. The Kings also believe more than one person was involved in these murders.
I believe there were major pedophile rings operating in this area at that time, and it's a strong possibility that several people were involved.
It's going to be an open case until it's solved.
Michigan State Police Lieutenant Mike Shaw says the Oakland County Child Killer Task Force still meets regularly, and detectives chase down every lead.
Is that good enough for the family? No, it's not. I mean, I can sit here and talk about it all day and say all the hard work we're doing, but until I can actually bring a name to somebody and say this is the person that took your loved one, I don't think I can do enough.
It isn't enough for Barry King, who's been fighting to have the case records made public.
And I just made a private decision that if the court system wasn't going to help me, I'd use you people.
That's why the 84-year-old is now launching a social media campaign and his own website, A Father's Story. He plans to blog about key facts that the Kings feel deserve more attention.
Dad just feels if we can get the word out about some of these key facts, someone might come forward and help solve the case, and to make sure this doesn't happen again.
The task force is going back over many of the original tips that came in during the early days of this investigation. Many people were cleared quickly if they had an alibi for one of the abductions. But if you look at this case, not as if one suspect was behind this, but instead that many people were involved, that throws some of those alibis out the window. Carolyn?
Gotta hope they'll get answers one day. Thank you so much, Heather.